everybody. Welcome to another episode of Friends Talking Nerdy. This is Tim Jousma, and with me I've got...
Kim, the Geek on Twitter.
Alright, another week is in the books, and we are here again.
We've survived.
Still
Surviving.
We're still here. We're gonna be here, damn it. Whether you like it or not. But now, we're gonna get down to business. We are gonna transfer over to the Drag News Network news desk with Kim the Geek.
Yes, we are experiencing another wonderful week in Dragland. We had a wonderful episode of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race that aired this week. We had a lovely guest judge in the form of Whoopi Goldberg, of all people.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell yeah. It has been a star-studded season. The week before that was Daisy Ridley of Star Wars fame.
Oh, jeez.
She played Rey on Star Wars.
Yeah, no, she played.
Yeah, and it was excellent. She was a great guest judge. Whoopi was a great guest judge. If you haven't started watching RuPaul's Drag Race, well, why the hell not? Because let me tell you, it's awesome. It's amazing. We're having a really good season. And then over on the Celebrity Drag Race side, this week was also a really great week. I can't remember the names of the other two celebrities, but it doesn't matter because one of my favorites was on the show. That would be Matt Eisman. You may know him as the host of American Ninja Warrior. I knew him as a host of an old show called Clean House that was on one of the home garden TV type cable stations ages ago. And basically they would go and help people like clean out their houses, sell a bunch of stuff, and remodel. And they actually came to Portland and I went and met him. He's the nicest guy. So nice. Gave me hugs. I was starstruck and I've been his fan ever since. So he was on the show. He did an amazing job and he tweeted about it today and I tweeted back and he said, "Thanks, Kim, for watching. I had a great time. I'm glad you enjoyed it."
Oh my god.
He tweeted me back. I was very excited about that today.
Were you like, oh my god?
I wasn't like that. I wasn't fangirling out, but I'm just like, I just like it when people who are like famous and do famous things like appear on one of my favorite TV shows and they're just like super nice people. They're just good people. He's good people. Matt Eisman is good people, and
he's not a bitch.
No, he's not a bitch.
Okay.
He is a very nice guy, and he got paired with one of my favorite drag queens. Her name is Kimchi, and she's amazing. And yeah, it was a great week in drag. Let me just tell you.
What would you say is your absolute favorite moment this week?
Having Matt Eisman tweet me back. Probably my absolute favorite moment was the final lip sync on Celebrity Drag Race when all three of the queens were out there doing their thing, and it was just fabulous drag. It was just great drag. Anything
you would recommend to check for people to check out if they are new to drag in this week's batch of episodes that may entice them to keep watching?
Well, there's lots of stuff out there related to Drag Race. There's lots of podcasts dedicated to it.
We got the Drag News Network team,
and we've got our own little bits that we talk about here. Honestly, just pick a season and start at episode 1, and you'll get sucked right in. Trust me.
Okay.
It's great. This season has been a great season. In the later seasons, there are sometimes references back to early seasons, but the first season of Drag Race was a little mixed. I liked it. It was a little mixed, but just pick a season and start at the top. And a lot of these seasons are available on Amazon Prime for free. If you're more into like horror movies and stuff like that, you might like Dragula. Dragula is on Netflix right now. So that's all I gotta say right now.
That's Kim the Geek from the Drag News Network news desk. I'm
That's
seriously
me.
I'm serious. It should probably just be like the old typewriter sound that like
Chick, tick, tick,
the
tick,
yeah.
tick, tick.
It's like in the background, like when this is Walter Cronkite. President Kennedy has just been shot. Rah, 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 rah.
I don't want to be Walter Cronkite though. I don't want to be rah 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 rah.
Well, I mean, this is Jan Rather.
No.
This is Perry
No. God damn it, Tim.
Okay. Had to slip one in.
No.
All right. Gonna talk about a video game now.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a mobile game. I primarily stick with mobile games these days. There are some franchises with, console games that I like, and I love Civilization, of course. But my primary enjoyment is mobile games, and one game in particular is part of a kind of a sports simulation type of game. What I mean by that is this: they're especially popular in Europe with soccer games, for instance. But it's kind of the game is called Modern Mania Wrestling. It's
Of course, it's wrestling.
it is a wrestling game, but the beauty of this game is that you're not a character. You are the owner of a wrestling company, and it is your job to put on a popular product that will get high in the ratings. You got to put on matches that, hopefully will entice the audience to come and pay for the show. You got to get people on your roster popular enough to be able to sell merchandise and whatnot. So it's one of those games that I will be the first to admit is not something like an Angry Bird that just anybody is gonna, want to pick up and is gonna be able to enjoy. But for a niche group, which I know I fit into, I think it's one hell of a great game. From the folks, you were gonna say?
I was gonna say, is it good for people who are really into statistics?
It is, and I was actually going to show you. The reason I'm talking about this is that the company that owns that, Checkmate Creative, has Twitter accounts for the games they have out. One of them for Modern Mania Wrestling. They only follow 9 people. Our show is one of the 9.
Oh, nice.
So I thought because of that, why not give them a free plug? Because I play their game often enough here. So what I figured we will do, I am currently, because they have a 20-year schedule in the game.
Oh, jeez.
And then you go, each month through the year, you have 4 shows you have to produce. So I'm in year 4 right now. This is the second time I've gone through the game here. Year 4 in January, the 4th show in January, which is a pay-per-view type of show. Mm-hmm. So what I thought I would do is kind of explain the booking process here and kind of show you what's up. And hopefully I describe it enough to keep the audience listening here.
Okay.
But anyway, Modern Mania Wrestling, we're going to start it up. Fast load up times, which I always appreciate. Some of their older games.
Oh, I like that graphic.
Were a little notorious. And she looked like Squirrel Girl. I forgot her name
Yeah.
here. But Modern Mania Wrestling, we're going to hit continue. Again, week 4 in year 4 in January. So similar to the WWE with the Royal Rumble, we have the Battle Royale. The company I am is PWN. Power.
Pone.
No, I call it the Power Wrestling Network.
But, Pone, PWN, is like, it's kind of a gaming term.
I know that.
Okay, just making sure you did, because
I know.
it was like a thing that I always saw in WoW, and I didn't know, because I didn't think you played World of Warcraft.
No.
Okay.
I've known enough people that so.
Yeah, I think just about everybody knows at least one person who's played World of Warcraft. It's that pervasive.
Yep, so what we are going to do is this. We're going to tap on the show itself, Battle Royale.
Welcome to Battle Royale.
It has its own audio that lets you know the name of the show here. You want to pick a good venue, a decent-sized venue. Now, in the game, when you are picking a venue, you gotta make sure you're not using one you used previously, because if you use the same venue multiple times in a row, then yeah, you're gonna get half as much ratings as you normally would.
You need bigger market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so where are we going?
We are going to the Silver Stadium. This is a kind of a satire parody of modern professional wrestling, and a lot of the sites, like this is an actual picture of the Pontiac Silverdome when it was up, but they call it Silver Stadium for obvious reasons. It has the biggest crowd capacity of any arena in the game. It's beginning of the year. It's going to cost $4,950 to rent, but guess what? It's Battle Royale. We got to do that.
All right.
So we're going to select that. Now, the Battle Royale, what's happening in this match, it starts off with a Battle Royal. And we got to fill people in for the Battle Royal. Now, the good thing about this game, because the Battle Royale, the winner of this match goes on later in the show to face the world champion for a world championship match.
Okay.
So when you have something like that, then you have a little button here that says View Top Contenders. Tap on that, and you can kind of get a rough idea of who would it be best to face the current champion, because again, that determines ratings. So
okay.
If you pick,
So do you get to make your own wrestlers, or does it?
No, you don't. That's the thing with this game. There is not a create a wrestler mode. It's a certain set of wrestlers that come with the game when you first start, and then over time you can buy more.
Okay.
But it's just custom made here. Now, before we do anything else, one thing we want to do is make some money. So we're going to get a sponsor. And we're going to look for the $100. Guess what? We're doing that.
Okay.
All right, so now we got to pick a bunch of people to face, to be in the Battle Royal here. So, being that it's for the World Championship, you do want to...
Caliber.
Matt Caliber is... He's kind of a John Cena clone.
Oh, okay.
I believe the Emperor Enu, the first one I put in, is kind of the game's take, I believe, on Hiroshi Tanahashi, a New Japan Pro Wrestling star. This, I don't know who it's modeled. Pale Rider. Don't know who that is modeled after.
It's like Gambit, kind of.
Yeah, Amari Fang is an upper mid-carder in my game. I recently elevated him from mid-card status to upper mid-card. He's kind of like an ACH. Hardcore wrestling fans are going to more know who he is.
Okay.
Then we got Black Plague.
Oh, he's spooky.
We got to have Black Plague in there. Then we are going to include Domingo, who is the game's version of Batista. He came in a recent system update. Every month, Checkmate Creative pushes out a game update that includes like new features and new roster members.
Oh, okay.
So there's always things changing. Then we got Flint Decker. Looks like Aquaman.
I was gonna say he looks, very much like a superhero.
Yeah, we got Richie
What's
Billions.
this guy? Oh, he looks like a douchebag.
Yeah, he is.
Richie Billions.
That's right, Richie Billions. He's a douche. We got Shaolin Hero.
Okay.
Nothing racist there. And the last person in the Battle Royal, the winner, of course, going on to face the champion, Slapstick.
That doesn't look like the Joker at all.
No, not at all. So we are going to, boom, book that match. Now, the next one here, the TV title match, we got Slash Master. He's part of a tag team, so we can have his tag team partner, Samoa, join him as kind of his manager. Now, what else we can do is find the Deviant. He's going to face off against the Deviant in a match for the TV title. We want to... not get a sponsorship here to make some money. And now, being a pay-per-view, we can pick a different type of match. So we can do a weapons match, tables match.
Tables! We want tables!
Okay.
Tables.
Kim the Geek wants tables. She's getting tables. So Slash Master versus the Deviant in a tables match. Then, we got a mic spot. The mic spot here is similar to what you expect on a regular wrestling show, just a chance for one of the performers to be interviewed.
Oh, okay.
In this instance, you can pick the type of interview that happens, and this is a segment here called Alive with Reviver, one of the performers on the roster. He has a podcast, so you can pick...
Ooh, who is that back there?
That is Candy Cotton.
How about her?
Okay.
I bet she'd be fun.
We are also going to give her... They have little cards here that are kind of like bonus things that can help elevate, because the benefit of this... Now, she's a main eventer, so there's no reason to really do a pipe bomb. A pipe bomb, if I attached that to this particular segment, then she's going to get the best no matter what. She's going to get 5 stars for the segment.
Okay.
The social media post, she doesn't... I want it to be as successful as possible, but she doesn't need the extra leverage that a pipe bomb would get. So social media will do. And again, what this does, it makes it's a mediocre talker is going to be good. A good talker is going to be great. A great talker is going to be masterful.
Okay.
So we're going to book that segment there. Then, ooh, look at that. We got a ladies title match.
Ooh.
We got Mother Mercy. She's in part of a tag team. Girl Power. Yeah. Her tag team partner is going to be with her. Now she is going to face Carolina Strutter.
Okay.
who is totally not Charlotte Flair. And now we are going to go find a sponsorship. Now, what do we want the ladies to wrestle? So we've been up to tables match. We got a submission match. We got a steel cage match. A scaffold match. We got a prison cell match, which is essentially Hell in a Cell. Got a lumberjack match. In this case, it'd be a lumberjane match. Last man standing. We got a ladder match. Iron Man match. An I Quit match.
Oh, ladders. Let's go back and do ladders.
A ladder match it is. So it'll be the champion Mother Mercy facing off against Carolina Strutter in a ladder match. And now we got a skit. We got a number of things we can do in a skit.
This is starting to get boring. There's too much going on.
Well, it's part of a pay-per-view. There's a lot more segments here, and I wanted to be as detailed as possible here.
All right.
We got time.
I know. Just pick some stuff.
I'm doing it. So, main event, we got Reba Roughneck. Let's get her in a skit with Candy Cotton, and we'll give her a pipe bomb segment. So that should be a 5 stars. Got the tag team match here. Total Harmony is the champions, and then we got Max Contract, the challengers. They in a previous show they qualified for this particular match here, so which is why everything was already filled in.
Okay.
Then we want to find the most expensive advertisement, and then the match types. So we got Iron Man, I Quit match, hair match, a flag match, first blood match, falls count anywhere, an exploding ring match.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Okay. Now, the thing with an exploding ring match is that it does come with the chance of injury.
Uh-oh.
So sometimes with some of these matches, you can get some of your performers hurt for 6, 7, sometimes 8 shows, depending on the type of thing.
Oh, you got lots of performers. No worries.
Yeah, so...
Kill them all. See, this is what I would do with, like, The Sims, is my friends and I would figure out weird ways to kill them. This is with the first Sims game.
Yeah.
When it was all, like, brand new and exciting. And
Now, the last match on the card is going to be for the World Championship. The winner of the Battle Royal is going to face off against the World Champion, Alexi Monstro. What type of match should we see here? The last one we got up to was Exploding Ring match. We got a dog collar, a death match, coal miner's glove match, a tables, ladders, and chairs match, casket match, burning ring match, bull rope match, and a barbed wire match.
that's a lot of different matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. How about the one with all, like, the letters and stuff? The 3 things. Back. No, not the other way.
This is...
That one.
Tables, ladders, and chairs?
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody likes tables, ladders, and chairs.
Oh, my. And now the
Tables,
last
ladders, and chairs.
thing is the merch table. If you get a performer that is popular enough, then they can have merch that is available to sell to make a little extra money for the show. They do have an autofill button feature here. So we're going to hit that autofill and get everything filled up. So all 10 spots that I currently have are available. We're going to sell it all. And now we're going to start the show. So the first match is that Battle Royal. They are fighting. Look at this. And then now this is the waiting part. You got match action here.
There's not much action. It's just pictures.
And that's the thing. This is a kind of a card game. It's kind of fighting up here. So I'm glad that they do this, though, because sometimes there's another game out there called Booking Empire from a developer by the name of M. Dickey. Great game, but if you're going to have a simulation where you're treating wrestling like an actual business, you shouldn't really focus on the in-ring action. You know, it should be something like this. Now, what I would like to see in future updates in this game would be kind of, let's have a ring announcer. Let's have special animation footage of the wrestlers coming out to the ring, and then you can have something like this. Now, let's go to the next segment here, because this one is going to take a while.
All right.
The next segment is the TV title match.
That guy looks like
The Undertaker, and looks like the guy from A Clockwork Orange.
I was gonna say, it was
Roddy
Clockwork
McDowell.
Orange.
Yeah.
One of the
So
droogs.
they're fighting. Oh! Slashmaster won, and the match rating 2.5 stars. Now here is Candy Cotton in the Reviver podcast. She got 21. Flavor bonus 5. She got 3 stars, though. So it wasn't as popular. Oh, women's title match.
Wow, she's a big lady.
Looks like, yeah, her real life counterpart is Awesome Kong, who plays Welfare Queen on
okay,
on Glow, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
we'll find out here.
gosh.
It's coming. It's coming. Oh, Mother Mercy got it.
Mercy won.
4-star match. So good popular match. Ooh, she got booed. 20 flavor and look. Ooh, 4.5 stars. So she didn't get that much here. So it is what it is. Now let's go to the end here. We don't need.
Okay.
I mean, we get the point.
Yeah, we get the point.
At this point here. So when it is over, you get to find out how much money you made. In this case, we had a great crowd. Had $10,920. Emperor Enyo ended up winning the Battle Royal. Slashmaster won the TV title championship match. Candy Cotton actually got an increase in her stats. She got +1 on the mic. Mother Mercy won in a 4-star ladies title ladder match. 4.5 stars for that. Oh, look at that. Max Contract actually beat the other team here for the tag team championship. So we do have new champions there, even though one of them was injured.
Uh-oh.
And finally, Alexi Monstro kept his championship in the tables, ladders, and chairs match, as well as injuring Emperor Enyo. Oh my God. What are we going to do next week? And in the ratings, that show got second place. So not the end of the world. Again, I'm gonna say it. There's no shame in saying it here. This is not an Angry Birds type of game. It's not going to be something that your 80-year-old grandmother is necessarily going to want to pick up and is going to be able to be interested in. But for the specific audience that loves games like that, I did forget to show you, but there is a stat section that shows you wins and losses. Also for tag teams as well. There's just a lot that you can really do, which I really appreciate. I mean, especially
when you're a hardcore wrestling nerd like you are.
That, on top of the fact that, you got companies like WWE that I don't want to support anymore. You have other avenues to support wrestling without supporting them. And also, too, it's fun to be a Monday morning quarterback, do your own booking.
That's true.
And create.
And that's why things like fantasy football are so popular.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, again, from Checkmate Creative, called Modern Mania Wrestling. Free to download. If you look online, there are some directly from the company, some cheat codes that they offer that you can get some special bonuses, like one that they every episode.
You just get so excited.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But like one that they released recently was a cheat code called Lower Rent, I believe, which lowered the rent on the stadiums that you rent, believe it or not. Little things like that, but definitely download the game. I appreciated the fact that they let us into a very exclusive small group of people that they're following on
That's
Twitter.
That's very nice of them.
So the least I can do is publicly express my love for that game. So we're moving on.
We're moving on up.
Yeah, for the past few weeks, we've had a continuing segment here, our top 5 favorites. And last week, we started our top 5 favorite television shows from the year we were born. And similar to the movies, what we're doing now for today's episode is picking our top 5 favorite TV shows from the year we were 10. Now, for the folks at home, what year was that for you?
1983.
For me, that was 1986. So we're going to go through our list back and forth. Kim will start. I will pick up my next choice there, and we're going to go back and forth and just explain why we chose what we chose.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Number 1 on your list.
Number 1 on my list, A-Team. Okay. I mean, come on. Quintessential 80s TV. It was really a fun show to watch, and it had a good theme song. And we got to play the theme song in jazz band at middle school.
It was one of those, like, the show does not age well today. You can't put it on and expect somebody who's never seen it or know of the premise whatsoever to really enjoy it. I mean, there isn't much TV from the era that you can, and that's what art is supposed to be. I mean, things change over time, but. Yeah. But
In terms of nostalgia, though, it is fun to watch still.
the nostalgia, yeah. But what I was getting to here was the fact that stuff like the A-Team, stuff like Knight Rider, stuff like Battlestar Galactica were great ideas, but they were birthed at a time and on a medium that did not have the money to properly let those ideas shine.
Yeah.
I think the A-Team, it did have kind of a reboot movie a few years back, directed by Joe Carnahan. I thought it was pretty good.
It was, I didn't care for the casting so much.
Yeah, I mean, I like Joe Carnahan as a director. I thought he did as good as he could with that particular film. I think, to your point, I think when it came to the casting, they pretty much did with that movie what the studio that made the Dukes of Hazzard movie did, and meaning that the characters that they cast were more cast for the name value that they brought to the movie and not what they could do with that character. Now, with a reboot movie like that, you don't want new actors essentially playing the same role. But if you look at a film like the Star Trek reboot from J.J. Abrams, those actors were able to keep the same core elements of the characters that we love whilst bringing them into new and different spots, which is what actors, with the right material can do.
Reboots can work too when it comes to like 80s TV, like the Battlestar Galactica reboot.
Yeah, because the Battlestar Galactica, the A-Team, I forgot the other one, the Knight Rider, those are great premises. And, it's like the A-Team, for instance, just that idea you can take into different episodes and take them, different places, across the country even, not only LA. But just, there's so much you can do with that because it's just a great premise, great core group of characters, so yeah.
You know what I would like is an all-lady A-Team. But then again, people would be like, well, that's just Charlie's Angels. But it wouldn't be the same. Charlie's Angels were detectives.
Yeah.
A-Teams were mercenaries.
Yeah, and, I mean, if we had a female version of the A-Team, that can be... the next time we do a recast, we can do a female version of the A-Team.
Oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that next time.
Yeah, because the recast... We're figuring this out on the fly, folks. If you haven't guessed,
we are not a scripted show.
Yeah, with me stuttering as much as I do, but you love us. Thank you very much, folks. Yeah, I mean, I think with the recast thing too, we don't have to stick specifically to known ideas. We can just recast anything.
All right, I'm going to do that. I'll do that next time.
So, the all ladies female A-Team. Main core group of characters along with the director. Anything else you want to add as well? So,
all right.
Let's go to my first pick. My first pick from 1986. It debuted that year, replacing other shows that this company put out. It is called WWF Superstars of Wrestling.
Because, of course.
Yeah. This, for the longest time, Superstars of Wrestling was essentially what they call... in the TV business, the in their business, the A show. Since they have multiple shows, the A show is the one that their primary stories are told, and then the B show may have some like lower tier stories, and like a C show would just be like generic matches. But great show, a lot of great memories. That I've already recounted on this show multiple times. The thing about the Superstars of Wrestling that makes it different from shows today is that the wrestling business back then was a lot different. Their primary revenue was in live event touring. So Superstars of Wrestling was essentially an infomercial to get you excited enough to part with your money to go see the WWF when they came to your town. So the show that they had is a lot different, meaning that the in-ring action a lot of times was a person facing off against a job guy. A job guy is just a no-name schlub that is going to get beat.
Yeah.
So different. It's they don't even show it on the WWE Network, because the funny thing is they ended up not renewing the trademark on that name, Superstars of Wrestling. Somebody else got that trademark and refuses to sell it to the WWE, so the WWE is not showing any of the footage of that show whatsoever. Someone got one over on Vince McMahon, so I consider that a good thing.
Okay, nerd boy.
Alright, what is your next one?
My next one is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
I have the power!
Pretty much. I enjoyed it as a cartoon. I enjoyed it as a kid. I didn't really get into like playing with the toys and stuff. Some of my friends around the block had them, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the big stupid cat that He-Man rides, and when I was able to get a cat mount in one of my online video games I like to play, I was super excited. I literally was like, "Oh, I have the power!" Yeah. So.
Yeah. J. Michael Straczynski, who created Babylon 5, was the head writer on the TV show Sense8 on Netflix. Actually, got a start on He-Man.
That's good for him.
Yeah, and the movie helped. The TV show helped spawn a notorious movie called Masters of the Universe that was released by Canon Films. That was Courtney Cox's film debut.
That was a terrible movie.
It was, but the funny part is that the director and the writer of that movie ended up taking their inspiration from something completely different and just essentially used the names of the He-Man characters into to accomplish what they want. Just it's a unique movie. I forgot the name of the guy who played Skeletor in that movie, and I know the moment we stopped recording, Frank Langella.
Oh,
he played Skeletor. Says that he's on record, as of recently, stating that Skeletor was his favorite film performance.
Okay then.
So, anyway, next up on my list, I've mentioned it briefly on the show before a couple of times, even mentioning the theme song from one Danny Elfman. This was his first TV show theme song, a little show called Sledgehammer.
Okay.
Yeah, for folks that don't know, it was a show that was on Thursday nights on ABC against the Cosby Show. So
yeah, that's why I have no recollection of it, because Cosby Show was what was on in our house,
and it was on for in most Americans' homes during the era. It was created by Alan Spencer, who was essentially a student of Mel Brooks. And really, the show, if it's like Get Smart meets Dirty Harry.
Okay.
So fun show. You can actually catch all of the episodes on YouTube.
Good to know.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one is Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak. That was the debut of Pat Sajak as the host of Wheel of Fortune. 1983, and he's still the host.
What else is he going to do?
Yeah. He's got a good gig.
Yeah, I mean, tons of cash to do. I think they film like multiple episodes like at once. So
yeah, I think they do like filming. They do like 2 or 3 episodes a day for a couple of weeks, and
then they have a multiple week break.
And yeah, they just stick them in the can repeatedly and air them forever.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no timestamp on the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, the only timestamp really is, I think you mentioned it before, like the different types of things that you could like win. Like
the different prizes showcase. And the way they've evolved, and they've evolved like the puzzles and the different things that go on the wheel. But the basic premise of the game hasn't changed, and it's one of those games you watch them play for 5 minutes and you understand the rules. And
yeah, and it's most people with the most basic of reading comprehension could be competitive in that game.
I don't know if I would say most people, but quite a few people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go on to my next one.
What's your next one?
My next one is the real Ghostbusters.
Oh, the cartoon.
Yeah. Arsenio Hall was one of the voices on the show. He did Winston Zedmore. Dave Coulier. Cut it out. Alanis Morissette's former boyfriend, the guy who inspired You Oughta Know.
Spent a bunch of years on Full House.
Yeah, Uncle Joey. He was Venkman on the show, the Bill Murray voice. He was. I mean, J. Michael Straczynski actually wrote for that show as well, and from what I understand, there were producers from the movie that helped kind of as advisors, so it was really faithful and just really well written. I mean, just really good show. I mean, as far as the animation quality compared to today, doesn't hold up, but the power of the story is what makes it entertaining to watch today.
All right.
All right, your next one.
Inspector Gadget. Do 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 do. Ooh ooh.
Frank Welker did the voice of Claw on that. Gadget, I will get you. He used that same voice on Super Friends as Darkseid.
I just really liked Inspector Gadget. He was just such a bumbling idiot, and
Missed it by that much.
yeah, and it was a fun show to watch. I just enjoyed it. I liked the animation style. I liked the fact that his niece?
His
Penny.
niece, Penny, voiced by Cree Summer, who was on A Different World.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just liked that Penny was always getting him out of a jam and stuff, and it was a cute show. I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know the history of its origin because, I mean, Don Adams, as far as how he portrayed Inspector Gadget, he was doing Maxwell Smart. I mean, it was the same type of performance. I don't know if the show intentionally did that or if it was a Japanese show that had a totally different storyline that they just adjusted to let Don Adams do it.
I don't know. I don't care. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I have good memories of watching it as a kid.
I did too, which made me really upset when they remade it and had Matthew Broderick star as Gadget. Just like, why?
You know, I saw that movie, the Inspector Gadget movie, and he wasn't terrible, but I like Matthew Broderick already. It was an odd casting choice, though.
Yeah, I mean, like the sequel, the direct-to-video sequel, Inspector Gadget 2, they cast French Stewart, which I thought was actually much more appropriate for that character.
Well, they probably were thinking, French Stewart, he'll never lead a movie in the box office.
I get that, but again, I mean, it's...
But was he being all squinty?
Of course, it was French Stewart.
Of course. See, French Stewart is funny, and I liked him on that show that with the aliens.
Third Rock from the Sun.
I like Third Rock from the Sun, but I don't know why he has to be so squinty all the time.
Hello.
Yeah, it's just... Don't be so squinty, French.
You bitch. No, anyway.
That was Jim that said that, not me. What's your
Direct
choice?
your hate tweets at. Anyway, my next one. The Fall Guy.
You know, I know my dad liked that show. I'm pretty sure it was my dad who liked that show.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember watching it.
I remember watching it. Not much really sticks out. It was a bunch... It involved a group of stunt people that were also bounty hunters.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought they were private eyes, but did research today and realized that they were actually bounty hunters, which shows you how much I actually remember the show. But again, this is another instance of a pretty cool premise that I think could easily be done well today. I do remember a few years back there was even talk of The Rock making this into a movie. But because I thought that was funny because the theme song was actually one hell of a good theme song.
I don't really remember.
Oh my god. I'll play it. Kiss and tell, but hey. I could jump from the tallest building.
Hey, okay, whatever.
Anyway, it was a good show, and it was actually Lee Major's last major role, which is sad because he's still around. I mean, he, popped up on I remember seeing him one time on a UPN spy show of all things, and they at the end of the show they had the $6 Million Man sound effect playing, insinuating that he was playing that character, and he also showed up as Ash's dad in Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Well, if he's happy with what he's doing and he's managing his residual money well, don't have to act in a bunch of crap just to make money if you don't want to.
Yeah, and hey, he married Farrah Fawcett in her prime.
Okay.
In the 70s. My God, what a lucky guy. But anyway, your last choice.
My last choice for 1983 was Webster. It was a very saccharine show. It wasn't really my favorite show, but let me tell you, there's slim pickings for 1983. There wasn't much good that came out of 1983. But what was interesting about Webster, it was another one of those white savior kind of things where this white couple couldn't have kids, so they adopted this down on their luck black boy, blah blah blah, etc., etc.
There's a funny story behind that actually. The show still stars Alex Karras and his real life wife. I forgot her name. But they were originally going to just have that as their show. Webster was not supposed to be a part of it. And then somebody at the network, pitched, what if, because this is after Different Strokes was popular.
Yeah, Different
what
Strokes
if
was popular, and
we
Cosby
give you
Show
a little
and-
black child? And they thought, why not? Because they thought, why not? If it gets us more eyeballs, we can get some interesting
or
stories
maybe
out of
it'll
this.
encourage people to adopt kids that aren't white babies.
Whatever, but it's still, they went in thinking, hey, let's give it a try. They gave it a try, and then what ended up happening is Webster became more popular, and what was their show became his show.
Yep.
And they absolutely hated him near the end.
Wow.
So
Mama.
it's sad that they ended up having issues with him directly, Emmanuel Lewis. But I can get the frustration. If you go into something thinking it's going to be all about you, and then some little punk kid gets your
Well, they could fit it into one of those family slots and a little half-hour program for the kids to watch before they go to bed.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
want to see Webster. He's so cute.
That's Baby Kim the Geek.
Hey, I like Webster. He's so cute.
The jelly beans just kick in.
I didn't have any today.
All right. Well, let's get to the last one on my list. This is the first year this show was in syndication. Previously, it had been on PBS. A little show called At the Movies with Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, hey. Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Watched many of an episode of that.
I still find myself going back on YouTube and watching old episodes now. The brilliance of that show is the fact that whether you agree with them or not is irrelevant. They're going to give you some pretty logical reasons why they like or dislike a movie. So you can learn proper critical thinking by hearing them discuss their points. It's not like, I like this movie, so it's the greatest in the world. It's, I like this movie, they did this great, they could work on this, blah, blah, blah type of deal, which, I like that kind of discussion. It's honest, and, I think more often than not, social media gives the impression that type of discussion doesn't really happen much anymore, but I think it does. Just more, you just can't get it on social media when you got a bunch of strangers who don't know each other just throwing stuff at each other.
Yeah.
You can't have that type of type of a discussion that you can have one-on-one, because a lot of times with stuff like this, your words may sound harsh, but your tone of voice, your body language can give more of an idea of what you're trying to say than just the words themselves. So, anyway, next week we will go on with our top 5 favorite shows from the year we were 20. And this will be interesting for me, because that was the first year that I did not have a television intentionally.
Yeah, I didn't have television in 1993 either, really.
But
I was in the middle of college, and I also didn't really watch much TV.
But remember, like the stuff that we watched from the year we were born, we weren't watching it the year we were born.
Yeah, that's true.
It was still first run at that particular time. That's the only that's really the only requirement that we're using for our choices here. Just it was first run at that particular time. Like Sledgehammer, I only caught up with that a couple of years ago. I didn't watch it at the time because my mother wouldn't. She would have broke my arm if I tried to turn it from the Cosby Show. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but you get my point.
I get your point. Yeah, the Cosby Show was on. So
yep. All right, we yesterday heard some horrible news.
yes, we did.
The architect of rock and roll music, his words, I've heard in an interview, architect, Little Richard passed away. Yeah, he
Losing so many people.
Yeah, he was in his 80s, so he lived his life, and he made quite the impact. He did die of bone cancer, though, so I hope he had a lot of opiates or something to keep
hopefully
that pain down.
Yeah, well, more than likely he was probably under some kind of hospice care, respite palliative care, however you want to.
Something like
Is
that,
it?
yeah.
So-
But you know, in his career, the reason he calls himself the architect, let me give you a list of some of the people he helped directly inspire. You got Otis Redding. He went to school with Otis Redding and hired him, and he was part of his band for a while. James Brown. If you watch the James Brown movie that starred Chadwick Boseman as James Brown, character of Little Richard is in that movie and is kind of detailed. A little group you may have heard of, the Beatles.
Yep.
He had a gig in Germany at the Star Club and was able to have the Beatles appear with him. Now, I heard in today a 60 Minutes interview that he did in '85 where he talked about Brian Epstein, the manager of the Beatles, wanted to offer him half of his stock in the Beatles to Little Richard, and Little Richard said he didn't do it because he didn't think they were going to go far.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, but there's that. He helped. He gave Mick Jagger one of his first big breaks. David Bowie has talked about, when he was 7, he mailed in for an autographed picture of Little Richard, and when he got it, it was torn in half. But he knew that when he grew up, he wanted to play the saxophone so he can be in Little Richard's group. Jimi Hendrix played with him, but famously, Little Richard fired him because Jimi Hendrix was too flamboyant.
If Little Richard's telling you you're too flamboyant, oh my.
Yeah, but what we wanted to do, we originally, once again, somebody doesn't want us to listen to Paranoid from Black Sabbath.
Yeah, somebody doesn't want us to listen to Black Sabbath. Maybe we should just give up on Black Sabbath because people just keep dying. Yeah. So why don't we just not do Black Sabbath? We'll figure something else out.
Yeah, we'll move on from there. But what we want to do is kind of go through some of our favorite Little Richard songs here. Our critic hats are off for this.
No hat.
Because when you're talking about a legacy of a person who has freshly passed on, saying I didn't like the saxophone, you don't do that. You honor the music.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he would want more than anything. I mean, because I was listening when I first saw the news, definitely sad, but put his music on and just. Damn.
Yeah. You put the music on, you're just bopping along. You can't help yourself. And
and let's talk about his influences. He influenced Prince.
Let's just say he pretty much is influenced. You name a band, he probably influenced them in some way,
either directly or indirectly. Because if a group was influenced by the Beatles were influenced by Little Richard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go through it track by track. Say a couple of thoughts here again.
And the playlist is on Spotify, and we'll put it in the show notes and all that stuff.
Definitely will. So first track here, womp babaloo bop bam
Bam, boom.
boom. We got Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti, already. Seriously, this is just a classic. I'm pretty sure we played this in Pep Band. It's just everybody knows this song. It's a great song.
Yeah, great song. It's just the rhythm section period is the best. Just you're listening, you're bouncing your head, and him as a musician, you can't really pinpoint a good Little Richard piano solo because Little Richard is the music. He is his own instrument.
Yeah, he's slapping the keys, he's singing along. Yeah.
Yeah, and someone else I forgot.
He's just the instrument.
Someone else I forgot. Elton John, definitely influenced by Little Richard.
What about Elvis?
Elvis, yeah. Elvis was.
Or did Elvis influence Little Richard? Which came
No,
first,
Little
the chicken
Richard,
or the egg?
Little Richard came first.
Okay.
And Elvis is definitely important. I'm not dismissing Elvis's importance to rock music, but what he did was.
Yes, you are.
How dare me?
How dare you, Tim?
Bless my soul. What Elvis did more than anything was essentially shine a light on, types of music that were being ignored because I guess they called it back in the day race music or something like that. Just, black people are making it, so we can't have it on because our white daughters will dance to it, and that's bad.
Yeah.
But next track here. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
One hell of a song. Again, I mean, the beauty of these songs is that they are simple. I mean, that I wouldn't want to have my critic's hat on listening to this because, you know, it's not fair to judge a song that was recorded in the 50s and compare it to music today. I mean, it's the foundation blocks.
It's building blocks of a lot of the music that we listen to today.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be quick and fun because the 50s, they were coming out of World War II. And you know, a lot of the folks that were starting to listen to this music, it wasn't their kids quite yet. That would have been the 60s. But just a lot of this is just, it's fun. People needed a pick-me-up after the drudgery and the sacrifices and all the scrimping and hoarding. There probably was hoarding, but it was a lot of things you couldn't get. You just couldn't get them because everything went to the war effort in World War II. So now they're just kind of like, okay, we're getting back to normal. We're actually getting things like chocolate and sugar and coffee, real stuff again. And we want to go out and have fun. We want to have fun again. Here comes Little Richard. Good golly, Miss Molly.
Yeah. All right. Next song, Rockin' Boogie.
This one's more 70s. But I chose this one because it's just, I liked the 70s, like, groovy space bass is what I call it. That kind of wakata kind of noise. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, popular in funk music and whatnot.
Yeah, it's very funky.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that song.
Yeah. One thing about Little Richard, I believe it was 58 or something like that, no, it was a little bit later, but he left popular music for a while. He was in Australia. Apparently saw something burning in the sky and took that as a sign of God, but what it turned out to be was Sputnik. So he left music, became a Seventh-day Adventist minister, and would apparently I saw some pictures on the website. My sister will have a laugh at this. He would, at the end of his shows, throw out Ellen G. White books. Ellen G. White is like one of the main she's dead now. She's been long dead for a while, but they still use her writings to kind of preach to people and whatnot. So he'd throw books out. Near the end of his life, he was essentially like the justice of the peace to the stars. He married Cyndi Lauper. He married Bruce Willis and Demi Moore.
Oh, that's cool.
Tom Petty and his wife. But interesting guy. Next track here, it's a cover, Money. That's what I want.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the song itself, simple, but simple's not bad. You know, simple, no. It not bad.
And that's how the Ramones got themselves a career.
Of course. Of course. Next track here, Land of a Thousand Dances.
I used to play this one in pep band all the time. All the time.
What instrument were you?
I was a clarinet. Or I could double as tenor sax if needed be.
Okay.
But mostly clarinet.
Could you play the sexy sax solo in Careless Whisper?
I probably could. It'd probably take me a bit to get myself back to it, but it's not a difficult solo. I just would need some time. That one is more of I think that's an alto sax rather than a tenor sax.
And you'd have to practice your pelvic thrust on that one.
I wouldn't need a pelvic thrust to sit in a chair and play a saxophone.
Well, I mean, if you're playing the Careless Whisper solo, you'd have to stand up and
I'd have to sway.
Thrust your pelvis somewhere, you know.
I don't think you...
Come here!
You can't really... What was that Mortal Kombat thing there? It was like, get over here!
Come here!
Okay. And apparently...
I'm gonna thrust my pelvis in your face! Because this is Careless Whisper, damn it.
It's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane, apparently. You are insane, Tim. Insane. In the membrane.
Yeah, each episode is just like one step closer to dementia for me.
Pretty much. I think we're both gradually working ourselves into that way.
By episode 200, it'll just be us going blah, blah, you know, like making weird noises.
Yeah, and giggling.
All right. This cover of Hound Dog.
I liked it. I mean, come on. It's classic. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to think too from that era. I mean, his main cultural impact output was really only for a couple of years, and you know, during that time, the stuff we know as classic now was new then, and you know, they didn't have that many rock and roll songs to kind of choose from, so they would ultimately have to cover each other, a lot, and you know, but it's also when. It's also great hearing other artists cover other artists, because sometimes they can bring something new to the song.
I find it interesting to hear covers of contemporaries. So,
all right, the next track here, "Long Tall Sally." Long Tall Sally, she pretty sweet, she got everything,
etc., etc. She's Long Tall Sally.
Yeah. Beatles actually did a cover of this on, I believe, their second album.
Okay, I trust your words.
Yeah, definitely another classic. Next one here, "Joy, Joy, Joy."
I like gospel music, and this is very much it's like it's rock and roll gospel.
Yeah, I mean, gospel was definitely one of his
he did a lot of gospel stuff too.
Yeah.
I found that on Spotify. I was like, wow, he did a lot of gospel.
Yeah,
which is good. I was like making notes to go back and listen to stuff.
Yeah, I heard an uncomfortable interview he did with David Letterman in '82, I believe, where he. Oh, I cringed hard, because I know he came out and corrected it years later, but you know, he talked about you know, after converting to Christianity, then he stopped being a homosexual, and then he did the old cliche, "It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve." It's just like, ew, stop.
That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of conversion therapy stuff happening around that time.
Yeah, I mean, the Seventh-day Adventists were doing that to him and making Ben Carson into Ben Carson today. So, yay, thank you, fuckers. And you got to remember, too, Seventh-day Adventists, that's where Dr. Harvey Kellogg, he was actually a part of the Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah, he came up with graham cracker. No, he didn't come up with graham crackers. He came up with cornflakes.
But cornflakes were to help lower sexual stimulation.
Yeah.
To kind of keep you from masturbating.
Basically, I guess if you're too busy stuffing your face with cornflakes, keeping your hands busy, you can't be masturbating.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what they would think of Frosted Flakes now, you know. Get a little tingly somewhere. Oh wait, that's a heart attack. Alright, the next song, "Slippin' and Slidin'." Peepin' and a Hidin'.
Oh, I just thought that the title was funny, but the song is really good.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that he kind of was the first major artist that, you know, think of how many artists like, you know, Steven Tyler, Mick Jagger, you know, just, you know, made up words, you know, and just made up stuff and made it work and made it seem cool because of how they essentially sold it.
Yeah.
Little Richard was the first to do that.
Yeah, he was just, I think he's just was having a good time and just was like, what rhymes with this? I'll make up something. And then you move many years later, and you've got Snoop Dogg doing "Shizzle for Dizzle."
Well, he's doing Carney.
Pizzle.
I mean, Snoop Dogg
is that a Carney thing?
That is a Carney thing, because that's wrestlers. His cousin Sasha Banks is actually a WWE superstar, and he's been a wrestling fan for a long time. But that is Carney. That's back in the day before Vince McMahon let it out that it was sports entertainment, when they still tried to present it as an actual sport. If an unknown person were to make their way backstage, they would talk in Carney.
Okay.
Yep. All right, the next one is a cover of Jerry Lee Lewis's "Whole Lotta Shakin'."
It's a classic. I'm just gonna sit here and just be lazy.
It's
a classic.
It's not being lazy. It's, I mean, because again, someone passes away. You can't have your critic hat on.
Yeah, and
there's only so much you can do.
And there's just so much joy in these songs, which is one of the reasons why I picked "Joy, Joy, Joy." Going back to that, but yeah, it's just everything just sounds so happy, and it's good. It's good music to get you in a better mood.
It moves you. I mean, it just
it makes you want to get up and boogie.
Boogie woogie, baby.
Boogie Woogie.
All right. The next one is another cover, Blueberry Hill.
You know, when I listened to this at first, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work for me because I really love the Fats Domino version. Because that one is so, like, kind of slow and sultry and soulful.
Mm-hmm.
But then I listened to this and I'm like, you know, you can boogie up the Blueberry Hill and you can sultry your way down. I don't know. Why not? You could boogie up the hill. You could climb the hill slowly with your lover. Because you listen to Blueberry Hill and it makes you sound like you're going up onto the hill to make out in someone's car.
Ooh. Girl across the street, she showed some ankles, so let's get in our new car and listen to that newfangled rock music, and hey, we'll go necking.
We'll go necking.
Necking. Alright, the next one. Led Zeppelin loved this, because they stole the opening drum part for their song Rock and Roll in Led Zeppelin 4. It's Keep It Knockin'.
Keep it knocking, but you can't come in.
Keep it knocking, but you can't. Woo! I cannot do it.
Woo! Yeah, he had a unique voice you can't really do.
I mean, my voice is too low. He had a higher pitched voice, and two, come on, it's me. I can barely do it. Jinx!
Oh, God!
All right, the last one. I love how he delivers this line. Ooh, my soul. Ooh, my soul.
Ooh, my soul.
Just how he delivers that line is just so great. It's again, you could tell in this song when he delivers that why Mick Jagger was influenced by Little Richard the way he was. Because, me saying that, you're going to laugh. When Little Richard does it, if Mick Jagger were to do that, you're going to think, like, that's a fucking rock god. That's the difference between them and me. And among other things, too. But, Little Richard, a legend. Without him, there would not be rock and roll as we know it today. There were other people, of course, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley again did his part. Elvis Presley, in my opinion, did not create as much as shine a spotlight on, other artists that may not have gotten it. And then, of course, you got Bill Haley and the Comets, I think are still very much influential, even though people don't necessarily talk about them. But it's a
shame.
It's a shame, but Little Richard lived a long, impactful life, and even though his manager screwed him out of his money, my God, the impact. People are going to be talking about this guy hundreds of years from now, just like they talk about Mozart today. I mean, just him, Chuck Berry. I mean, again, he's on the Mount Rushmore of popular music.
Yep.
Who would you put as the Mount Rushmore? Because like Mount Rushmore is, whether you liked it or not, the idea is like the absolute 4 best artists that represent the music that you like. So for rock music,
oh God, I wouldn't even know where to begin, because in my mind it all separates by genre.
Well, again, rock music. Now, you can include a band like the Beatles; they would count as one choice. But
I can't do it off the top of my head. It's too complex of a question for me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm ruining your fun.
How dare you? Me, I would put Little Richard up there, and the Mount Rushmore, the founding fathers type of deal. So Little Richard, Chuck Berry, you have to have Buddy Holly on there. And I would lastly put, I think Jerry Lee Lewis would be the other one. The Mount Rushmore of people that were directly influencing modern rock. If not Jerry Lee Lewis, take him off, put in Muddy Waters.
Okay.
Muddy Waters, because Muddy Waters would, influence the harder edged music that came out, inspiring stuff, people like Keith Richards, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, others like that. But and again, that's just my opinion. Other people are going to have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, Little Richard was an iconic artist, and just if you haven't done so in a while, put some of his music on, celebrate his legacy by just rocking the fuck out.
Yep, and we've made a playlist for you to do it.
Yep, it will be.
Go do it.
It'll be in the show notes, like other links that we've had in our show notes in the past. A majority of our listeners are on Apple Music, and I know for a fact in the show description on the podcast app, the link, you just tap it and it will bring you directly to that Spotify playlist if you have it already installed on your device. The other podcast app should have it as well, but yeah, long may his memory remain in people's heads.
Long may he rock and roll.
Yep. All right. Another episode's in the books.
That would be, yeah, that's another episode.
All right. So next week we will be back for some more hijinks and shenanigans.
Hijinks and shenanigans and hijinks.
So, music choice.
Well, we keep trying to do that Black Sabbath, but I think we should just put that in a can and shove it somewhere in the corner of a closet and not bring it up again, because every time we talk about it, someone legendary dies. So we will not talk about that. No.
Okay. So my choice again?
Sure.
All right. Let's do...
Black Sabbath will be They Who May Not Be Named.
Yeah. No. Let's do... something.
Wow, that was wonderfully non-committal. Thank you, honey.
Yeah, I mean, we'll think of something. I mean,
yeah,
we like to record these shows late at night.
We do tend to record late at night. It's true.
Yeah, I mean,
we're night owls.
We're night owls, and I think it allows us to be more goofy.
Yeah.
Just like the sleep deprivation and whatnot, just makes you say some things you wouldn't normally say.
Some extra caffeine, maybe some sugar.
Yeah. Then you get into Perry Farrell impressions. Then you get like Bill Guy impressions. How's it going there? Hey, baby, go get me a beer. Like
yeah.
That. Do you like fuck you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that voice just makes me want to go.
Got some Toby Keith we could put on?
Oh, God, fuck that guy. Just makes me want to swing punches. If you put these things in my subconscious, that's when I start trying to take a swing on you in my sleep again. That's
why you were like, no, Perry, no.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And then I have to tell people I walked into a door. I don't know. I fell multiple times into this door.
No, it's just my lady friend. She likes to punch me in her sleep.
She hates my impressions.
Yeah. All right, we're done.
We're done. All right. Another one is in the books. We thank you all for listening.
Yep.
Support us in any way that you can.
Sure.
Reach out to us too. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at FTNerdy.
At Kim the Geek.
We want to hear from you. We're lonely.
Sure.
These are unique times. Let's reach out.
Times.
Let's reach out. Let's support each other. And if some of you reach out, then we will mention your comments on the show. You know what? Let's do that for a segment. It's like next week. Let's do an Ask Me Anything type of deal, and audience members can submit any question whatsoever, and we have to answer it.
All right. We'll see what happens. See who submits something, if anybody's listening to our voices that we've thrown out into the void.
Tim from Grand Rapids asks, something like that.
Tim from Grand Rapids, that would be you. So you're going to ask me.
Believe it or not, there is another Timothy Michael Jousma in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That doesn't surprise me.
My sister actually met him once.
So I know there's other Kims around. So there must be other Tims. They're in the Bizarro universe.
Something like that.
Where like Hillary Clinton actually won the election, and maybe they're happier there.
Hopefully. I don't know. And Donald Trump got gonorrhea in that universe and died in a painful death.
No, what I would wish for him would be syphilis, so his nose would fall off.
How would he snort his Adderall?
He would have to learn how to inject it with his bleach. They could give it to him in an enema with his bleach.
I can't wait. I hope November. I feel, crossing my fingers here, I think we will see. I hope. I mean, because I didn't expect Donald Trump to get elected president.
I don't think anybody expected that except maybe him.
And Vladimir Putin. But my hope, based on what I'm seeing, is that I do feel Joe Biden will have enough of a surge in order to get the presidency. I think we will finally have the Republicans lose control of Congress. We need that if we're going to get back to some semblance of normal, because again, all I ask, if there is anybody that is conservative that is listening to this and their hairs on the back of their necks are rising up because of the whole us versus them mentality this country is stuck in right now, just think about some of the things that this current president has done and ask yourself, would you have accepted it if it was done by a Democratic president? If the answer is no, then it has to be no now as well. And we're not talking policy differences, because you can have an extreme policy difference with somebody like George W. Bush. Horrible president. Horrible president.
Yeah.
But he was still playing by the rules that, people expect presidents of the United States to go by.
He wasn't the best president. And I don't feel like he ever really did he flat out lie? Not as much as Trump.
He lied.
Trump is on another level
politicians
of liar.
Politicians are going to lie no matter what.
Yeah, politicians are going to lie no matter what. But Trump has taken it to a whole new level of hell.
I mean, it's really is the emperor's new clothes here. I mean, we are seeing this live on television each and every day, and this is not normal. This is not healthy. And I really, really hope, and my hope, and I do feel that we will see it. Now, one thing that could be a complication is the Tara Reid allegations. On our Discord, we've actually been discussing that a little bit.
Yeah, I hesitate to get involved with that discussion because it will lead me down a very dark mental path that I don't really want to go on, since I'm already on that path having to be an essential employee. I don't want it. I am pretty much, let's just put it this way. Pretty much everyone who's been working as an essential employee through this pandemic has been in a constant state of trauma to some extent, because it's been 2 months of relentless stress and fear and worry about going to a job that you shouldn't have to have those kind of fears and stress and worry.
Yeah. And
what that does is if you're operating at that mental level over a long period of time, you're going to burn out, and you're going to burn out quick. And we're going to have a very serious healthcare crisis in this country with the number of providers that are going to be burned out when this pandemic finally ends. And it's going to take a long time to recover, and we do not have the mental health infrastructure to help these people recover at this time. So it's very scary, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want to think about what an asshole and a creep Joe Biden is, and the fact that I might have to vote for him. I don't want to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I would like to vote for somebody else, but I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. So guess what? I'm going to have to fucking hold my nose and vote for creepy Uncle Joe, and I don't want to do that. And that's all I have to say about Joe Biden, and let's end this podcast, please.
Okay. On that note, we are done.
Done.
See
you next time.
All right. And remember,
it's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside, and when you wake up ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling. The feeling you know that I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. You always make each day such a special day. You know how? By just your being you. Only one person in the whole world like you. That's you yourself. I'll be back next time. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to Friends Talking Nerdy on iTunes, the Google Play Music Store, as well as Spotify. Remember to support Friends Talking Nerdy on Patreon. Goodbye, darling.